One of the most mind-boggling concepts we'll explore is time travel. I mean, who wouldn't want to hop in a DeLorean and zoom back to the 1950s to see what all the fuss was about? But seriously, is time travel even possible? The short answer is, well, we're not really sure. But there are a few objects out there that suggest it could be possible. Now, before you start packing your bags for a trip back to the dinosaurs, it's important to note that time travel isn't as simple as hopping in a time machine and hitting the gas pedal. For that, you need to watch the video till the end to learn about these mysterious objects. So hop in and enjoy the ride. Ancient laptop. Let me tell you, the ancient Greeks had some seriously interesting characters, but I gotta say my personal favorite has to be the Oracle of Delphi. The priestess was a real trendsetter, you know? And I'm not just talking about her power to connect with gods and provide insights and info to mere mortals. Nope, I'm talking about her cutting-edge technology. Yep, you heard me right. According to some conspiracy theorists out there, the Oracle of Delphi wasn't just selected by gods to be their messenger. Oh no, she was given a laptop by future humans to assist with her info gathering and influence wielding. And you know what? I'm kinda buying it. I mean, have you seen the sculpture of the Oracle of Delphi? It's located at the J. Paul Getty Museum in California, and it features the priestess looking intently into what appears to be a modern-day laptop device. Now, some skeptics have argued that it's just a shallow chest or something, but come on, the laptop has markings on the side that seem consistent with modern-day ports used for peripheral devices. It's pretty convincing evidence if you ask me. So let's just take a moment to appreciate this time-traveling influencer of the past. She was cursed to be selected as the High Priestess, but she turned that curse into a blessing with her laptop. I bet she was the envy of all the other priests and priestesses, with their boring old scrolls and quills. She was probably swiping left and right on her laptop, checking her Twitter feed and posting selfies with the gods. I mean, who needs divine power when you've got Wi-Fi? All jokes aside, the Oracle of Delphi was a fascinating figure in ancient Greek culture. Whether she had a laptop or not, she was able to provide insights and predictions that helped shape the course of history. And who knows, maybe we'll discover even more evidence of their technological prowess. Until then, I'll just imagine her typing away on her laptop with the spirits of the gods hovering over her like emojis. Father Pellegrino Ernetti Chronovisor. You may not be aware of this, but the Vatican and the Roman Catholic religion have a time machine. They've been accused of numerous atrocities throughout the years, including profiteering from the Holocaust and covering up child molestation. Following an accidental encounter with Father François Brun, a theologian and novelist who taught at the Sorbonne in Paris and had an interest in parapsychology, Father Ernetti's narrative started to come to light in the 1960s. Father Brun and Father Ernetti met as they were both waiting for a Vaporetto to cross the Grand Canal. They started talking, and Father Ernetti got Father Brun's attention by telling a tale about an invention he claimed to have helped create. His gestures, his intonation, how powerful they were. What flights of oratory, wrote Father Pellegrino Ernetti of Marcus Tullius Cicero's speech to the Roman Senate in 63 BC. Ernetti, a Benedictine monk who passed away in 1992, was also a well-known author, scientist, exorcist, and historian of ancient music. But what makes his portrayal of Cicero notable is that he asserts to have personally observed it. Father François Brun was informed by Ernetti that he was viewing it live on a chronovisor, a time-traveling gadget. The chronovisor didn't carry individuals across time. Instead, it turned into historical events and broadcast them like time-traveling television. Except for Enrico Fermi and Wernher von Braun, both of whom were already deceased when their identities were made public in 1992, Ernetti claimed that 12 illustrious scientists helped him develop the chronovisor in the 1950s. 3 of the chronovisor's antennae, constructed of mystery metals, were capable of receiving light and sound transmissions of all wavelengths. The chronovisor also had a screen, a recording device, and a direction finder for tuning to a certain time and location. The timing crew gathered around their creation to see speeches by Mussolini and Napoleon, as well as events from ancient Rome, including a performance of Thyestes, a lost tragedy by Quintus Ennius, one of Rome's most famous writers. Ernetti described this in his memoir. Ernetti posted Latin translations of passages from Thyestes as proof of his televisual excursions, even though no one saw the chronovisor. The chronovisor image of the crucified Christ, which was meant to be Ernetti's trump card, was then published by the Italian publication La Domenica del Corriere on May 2, 1972. The crew had witnessed his final days, including the Last Supper and his excruciating moments, and had preserved the photo as a potent remembrance. 300 million year old screw. did you hear the one about the Russian research organization that claims to have found a screw in a 300 million-year-old rock? Yeah, apparently they think it's evidence of extraterrestrial technology. You know, because when I think of ancient aliens, the first thing that comes to mind is a 1-inch screw. Maybe the aliens were trying to fix their spaceship on the go and accidentally dropped the screw while they were hovering over the rocks. Whoopsie. Or is it a relic of traveling through time? But wait, it gets even better. These same scientists claim there's another screw inside the rock, but they won't show it to anyone. Come on guys, what's the big secret? Is it a Phillips or a flathead? Inquiring minds want to know. Maybe it's just a ploy to get everyone talking about their little discovery. Like, hey, we found a screw, now give us some funding. Who knows? Maybe they're just really big fans of IKEA and wanted to show off their DIY skills from millions of years ago. And then there's that Nigel Watson guy, author of the UFO Investigations Manual, who's throwing some serious shade at these scientists. It would be great to think we could find such ancient evidence of a spaceship visiting us so long ago, but we have to consider whether extraterrestrial spacecraft builders would use screws in the construction of their craft, he said. Ouch, Nigel, that's a burn. Maybe the aliens were on a budget and had to make do with what they had lying around. I mean, who hasn't used a screw as a makeshift nail or a toothpick at some point in their lives? But the best part of this whole story is the Lanzhou screw. Yep, you heard that right, another screw in a rock. This one's even bigger, pear-shaped, and weighs a whopping 466 kilos. That's a big screw, folks. I mean, I've seen some pretty big screws in my time, but this one takes the cake. And get this, the scientists can't even agree on where it came from or what it's made of. Some scientists think it's from a prehistoric civilization, and others think it's from another planet. I'm no expert, but my money's on the aliens. They must have a whole factory full of screws up there in space, just waiting to be dropped into rocks for us to find. So, what have we learned today? Well, apparently screws and rocks are a thing, and they might be evidence of ancient aliens or prehistoric civilizations. Or maybe they're just really old DIY projects. Either way, I'm glad I don't have to dig any rocks in my backyard anytime soon. I have enough problem finding my keys without having to worry about screws popping out of nowhere. The Philadelphia Experiment. The United States Navy destroyed Elridge, which was anchored in the harbor of Philadelphia on October 28, 1943, vanished amidst a burst of green light at precisely 17:15. A few minutes later, the vessel reappeared 500 kilometers farther north, in the sea's front of Norfolk. Then it vanished once more, returning to Philadelphia and going missing in the same place as before. The vessel on which two brilliant scientists, Albert Einstein and Nikola Tesla, had conducted teleportation tests in secrecy. In addition, the mythology of the destroyer, which for a brief period traveled across space and time, was too alluring for fans of the mystery subgenre and was used by several Hollywood productions, the most well-known of which was the Philadelphia Experiment. What, though, in the Eldridge mythology is true? Morris K. Jessup, a bizarre man who actually existed, was where it all started, a peculiar combination of ardent ufologists and untrained scientists. A mysterious Carlo Miguel Allende wrote Mr. Jessup a letter one day in 1955, claiming to have seen the disappearance of the destroyer Elridge firsthand since, at the time of the experiment, he was employed as a marine aboard the Furset, which was anchored next to it. After that, a startling revelation was made. As a defense against German submarines, the Navy was experimenting with a risky and unpredictable method of teleportation utilizing gigantic Tesla coils. The experiment was unsuccessful. While the spacecraft was teleported 500 kilometers back and forth, several crew members were lost in the space-time continuum and never found their way back. The Navy subsequently made the decision to stop testing this risky method and hypnotize all of the survivors and those who had seen the incident to make them forget what had happened. Alfred Bielek, however, later said that he was one of the sailors who perished in the dimensional leap and was propelled for 6 weeks into the year 2137 and subsequently for 2 years into the year 2749. Bielek used another physics prodigy, John von Neumann, who was reportedly only able to shut off the electromagnetic machinery, which was still in operation on board the spacecraft, in 1983, to explain how on Earth he managed to return to the present. Bielek became an overnight star, and talk programs competed for his attention by making lucrative offers. Ancient nuclear reactor. We have a tendency to believe that the sole source of sophisticated equipment on Earth may be human beings. It does appear to be true that the Earth produces less complexity than its human occupants, putting away the exquisite intricacy of biologically formed species. Nevertheless, in the 1970s, a type of natural technology was unearthed by nuclear excavators that not only stunned nuclear scientists with its simplicity, but also predates their accomplishments by several billion years. Although shocking, revolution has fueled decades of study. American officials are still learning from its depths. The nuclear reactors in question are known as the Oklo reactors, and they are naturally occurring nuclear reactors named for the Gabonese area of West Africa where they're located. While they have likely been dead for more than 1.5 billion years, there is undeniable proof of their past behavior. The Oklo reactors held a sequence of steady nuclear fission processes for roughly 300,000 years, beginning a little more than 2 billion years ago. When these reactors were first discovered, the main concern was, how could they possibly work? One early theory postulates that 2 billion years ago, the basic physical constants that constrain nuclear processes today would have been different. The physical constants could have certainly remained constant throughout time, according to an analysis of the wastes at Oklo that dates all the way up to this particular month. Hence, the reactor would need to have fissionable isotopes in concentrations equivalent to those needed today. One of the key global challenges of our day is the protection of nuclear enrichment technologies. According to many political thinkers, Iran's nuclear enrichment program is the main factor that'll probably lead into another world war. How could an inanimate planet possibly produce stable fission reactions with raw uranium if we have such difficulty doing so? Then was it time travel? You be the judge. And that's all for now, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed hearing about the strange and fascinating tale we shared today. Well, guess what? The fun doesn't have to stop here. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on our latest videos. Trust me, you don't want to miss a single one. So go ahead, click that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and join our community of fellow weirdos. We'll be back soon with another unbelievable story that'll leave you scratching your head and questioning everything you thought you knew. Until then, peace.